Hi, I'm Brent Stafford, and this is RegWatch by RegulatorWatch.com. In the war on vaping, it's a brutally effective attack that's unique to the U.S. marketplace. Known as PMTA registry or directory bills, it's new legislation or amendments to existing state law that require manufacturers, distributors, and sellers of nicotine vaping products to attest under the penalty of perjury that the products are either authorized for sale by the FDA or are still undergoing the agency's arduous pre-market tobacco application process. The problem is that the FDA has only approved only 23 products out of the 5 million submitted for approval. And all of these products are owned by Big Tobacco and are only available in tobacco flavors. Joining us today to discuss the impact of these efforts to take out vaping are vape shop owners Danny Gillis and Chris Lautz from the president and vice president of the Venerable Tennessee Smoke-Free Association. Gentlemen, it's great to see you both. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Brent.
So guys, before we dive into the quagmire, please take a moment to quickly share some details about your businesses.
Well, I have 3 shops. I have 2 located in Sevier County. We started off with 1 small shop, as most everybody did. We're a harm reduction shop or a 21 or over establishment. We have, like I said, 2 in Sevier County and 1 in Jeff County here in Tennessee, mostly on the eastern side of the state. And we've been in business for about 10 years. We're just coming up on our 10-year anniversary, so we're excited about that.
Chris?
About the same. We've got 2 stores, one in Loudoun County, one in Blount County. Not too far from Danny, also on the eastern side of the state. We've been in business since 2013. I've owned the businesses since 2017. And we've converted a lot of people from smoking.
Well, there you go, Danny. The TSFA, what is it? And what do you guys do?
Well, we're an advocacy group. We are obviously fighting for the rights of consumers and vape shop owners for legislation throughout the state. Keeping an eye on any legislation that may come in and work with lawmakers to help regulate our industry. We make sure we give access to our adult vapors. That's what we strive to do, is to continue to give access for them to be able to vape, sell our products in our state. We have shops across the whole state, all the way from Memphis to the tip of the Rocky Top area in Johnson City area. So we're spread out throughout the state, and we are all about harm reduction and the right for the consumer to be able to vape in this state.
Now, Chris, I know that you have a pretty good handle on what's going on with some of the states and the things that they've been facing. But let me first just say that a little programming note, that coming up on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to do another RegWatch Live episode with Nick Orlando and Dan Marlin from the Florida Smoke-Free Association. And big thanks to John Glauser and Demand Vape for supporting our coverage. Chris, what do you know about kind of the magnitude of, bullshit and crap that's been coming down on vaping at the state level?
Well, about 30 states are under some sort of a regulatory bill, like you mentioned, like a registry of sorts, and things going from anywhere from a flavor ban to an outright ban. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. I think Danny's got a list of some more details on the state by state, but it's been quite the mess.
Danny?
Well, to kind of come back where we left off last year, I think it was Greg Conley who put it out there, or someone put it out there in the industry, that Big Tobacco was going to come really hard this year, and that they were going to go to and tack the state level. They were going after registry bills, going to every state. They were going to try to put it through, and that definitely happened. Like you said, about 30-something states. I can give you some updates on some of the states. I talked to Greg this afternoon, Greg Conley, and he sent me over a list of, this is current from maybe 5 o'clock this evening, registry bills that failed. Washington failed, Wyoming failed, which means that their session's over, their bill was dead, it got killed. Some amended flavor, Georgia, and then they did some PMTA. They got some challenges in the Senate, but it looks like they're looking pretty good. South Dakota, their registry bill was withdrawn, so we don't have to worry about anything in South Dakota. Likely dead, we're not 100% sure, but it's likely dead. Idaho, Indiana, West Virginia, Idaho, Arizona, and Hawaii, their time is pretty much expired for their bills. We're looking at Kansas, Missouri, Maryland, Nebraska, New Hampshire, and Vermont. We're not too certain. It looks like the bills are dying and they're stalling, but we're not quite certain on them. And according to Greg, this is what I'm getting updates on. And let me see here. Colorado, they got till next Friday. They got some stuff going on until next Friday. I'll skip over Arkansas and Tennessee, of course. Let's see here. So the PMT registry bills that's already been passed in Alabama and Oklahoma and Louisiana. There's bills introduced to strengthen those bills. Non-tobacco nicotine that applied in Louisiana in 22, they're trying to work on. All right, so what the states we're kind of looking at, we're worried a little bit about is Mississippi, Kentucky, South Carolina, Michigan, Illinois, and you might want to talk to Tony Abu to get a little bit more information about Illinois. What we had that came through past, a vapor ban that came past was Utah. Imminent right now, what we're looking at, something that's going through is Virginia and Florida, and we're watching Florida heavily, and that's why Nick is going to come on. We talked to Nick last night, and he'll be on with you, like you said, on Monday, and he'll give you the complete lowdown. Matter of fact, he might be watching, and I'm going to be calling him when we wrap up this evening. But there's some amendments in there that they're trying to fix with the all-out ban on open systems. They're going to try to get the open system e-liquid exempted from this bill. And I'm hoping Ron DeSantis, governor, actually looks at that and just outright vetoes it and says no, because he's been very favorable for the vaping industry. So I'm hoping that Nick and his team, we're wishing them luck. We're with them. We're standing with them. But Virginia and Florida look like they have some stuff that's coming through that's pretty imminent. So, but Utah definitely passed the flavor ban, excluding menthol and tobacco, though. So the menthol and tobacco is not excluded.
So let me ask you.
That's as of today. That's just as of today, Brent.
Right, as of today. So you've been at this for a while, and then, of course, Demetrius, TSFA, notorious, right, in fighting these things. Your state really has been on these battles. Is what you're seeing going on across the country today in 2024, is it worse than ever, or is this typical?
I would say it's worse than ever, actually. Yeah, I mean, it kind of just blows my mind. I mean, back in 2019, Brent, remember standing at the Ellipse together in DC and talking about all this, and it blows my mind that we're here now, and it's just getting worse and worse. I mean, the evidence is out there, the proof is out there, the data is out there, yet we want to hang this on for the children and stuff. It blows my mind.
We've seen bills every year, whether it be an Indoor Ban Act, a T21 bill. We've seen a lot of bills come through Tennessee and across the states. Last year was the real start of the registry bill that came out. We actually got a registry bill here in Tennessee. We did a show on it with you last year. That registry bill is trying to preempt the PMTA of the federal government. They're trying to it's convoluted and it's a mess to try to work with the FDA and with the states and trying to figure out what's what. So it's just a hassle. And to answer your question, absolutely. When you look at 27 to 30 states that are getting, these bills and they're going state by state by state by state, and don't listen to anybody. It's coming from big tobacco or it's coming from the convenience lobbyists. That's where these bills are getting put through from.
Yeah, why would big tobacco want to push these kinds of bills, for those that don't know about the malevolence of big tobacco?
Okay, so yeah, go ahead, Chris. I'm afraid I might go over the top.
No, yeah, don't blow your top. No, I mean, I think a lot of it is because they do have, marketing granted orders, right? They've been approved by the FDA, and a lot of their heat not burn technology, which I kind of personally find disgusting. They want us out of the market. They want us out of the way. I mean, I've always likened big tobacco to like a large cargo vessel. And if you're trying to like turn and pivot with the market, it takes time. You can't do that. Whereas the vape industry in general is fairly nimble. I mean, you can get a couple guys together and come up with an idea or design for something and go to China and get it made and get it on the market pretty quickly. I don't know why big tobacco struggles with that, but that's just kind of my perception of watching what's happened over the years. So
and it's pretty clear that RJR is really the biggest actor in the U.S. pushing these kinds of bills. Is that right?
And Altria as well.
Sure. Yeah, they're the main drivers of the registry bills. Like, if you only have 23 products available and they're from the big tobacco space, of course they're going to want to have a registry bill that, because we can't get a product approved. So they're saying, okay, we just want to put a registry bill in each state and then come back through and wipe the state completely clear of products so they could be standing alone by themselves and then introduce more products as they go. Why the FDA has not approved an open system e-liquid over these last years, I know Naked is putting millions of dollars to try to get their line through. I don't understand how they cannot get these large companies approval.
So let's take a look at it, because this has been, it feels sneaky, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just exactly the way this thing is supposed to work. But FDA put out an e-cigarettes authorized by FDA list, and this is as of January 2024. And of course, for the longest time, there was just a couple of products there. But now, here there's 23 products. And so basically, the agency puts this list out, and then based on that, the supporters of these bills come out and push, basically legal action in these states that says, if, to you as a distributor, to you as a wholesaler, to you as a retailer, forcing you to attest by penalty of perjury, and I'm sure a bunch of other fines and penalties, that you can only sell these products and that a product that you do sell is on this list. How does that hamstring the industry?
It completely cripples it. It just shuts it right down. You're not going to get on that list unless the FDA approves you. And right now they're not approving anybody. So they're approving big tobacco products. So if you took it, you look at the views that's out there. It's approved by the FDA and it's sold across the country. But do you see one open tank e-liquid bottle approved by the FDA being sold across this country? No, I haven't seen one. Why is the FDA taking forever to process this? Because I think they have 5 million applications and they don't know how to go about regulating this industry. My opinion.
So you guys, I'm going to call up here our roadmap for today's interview. I didn't have time to make nice, pretty graphics. So here it is, like directly from our roadmap. I'd like to share with you an update on some data on the U.S. vaping market. Now, this data is from Altria, Goldman Sachs, and Nielsen, and this is all fresh. Total smokeless sales in dollars in the United States is $9.5 billion. Total e-cigarette sales in dollars is $5.4 billion. Now, keep in mind, this is what can be counted. We'll get to that in a second because, of course, there's a huge illicit market. In 2023, Altria's data shows consumers transitioned from cigarettes to e-vapor at over 3 times the rate of transition to other smoke-free products. So they're moving quickly, and they're choosing e-vapor, e-cigarettes, over all other smokeless products. In 2023, Altria estimates the e-vapor category included approximately 17 million vapors in the United States, with 12 million of them exclusively using e-vapor products, meaning they are not dual using. 12 million. That's huge. In just 3 years, that's an increase of 7.2 million vapors, of which 6 million more are exclusive to vaping. Goldman Sachs states that the e-vapor category, so your nicotine vapes, has experienced growth in 2023, with volumes increasing by 35%. Vuse and Juul are at the top of the market, with Vuse having the highest market share at 40.7%. And Vuse is BAT, is RJR. And then, of course, Juul has a market share of 24.4%. Now, these are extraordinary numbers, are they not?
Yeah, and they're actually, but they're not even the actual true numbers of e-liquid or vapor products being sold. I think we're a $25 billion industry. This is the reporting that you're getting from Goldman Sachs. It's not getting the vape shop numbers. They're getting, Vuse numbers, big tobacco numbers. They put what did you say it was? Let me see, $5.4 billion, I think I just read on there.
Yeah.
There's estimates out there that the vape industry is actually about a $25 billion industry right now. So this is not they're not taking into account the vape shops that are selling open systems and stuff like that. So I think these numbers are staggeringly low. And it's actually amazing that the vaping industry is growing, because that's what we're all about, harm reduction. So the more vapors you have, the less smokers you have. The more vapors you have, the less lung disease, the less heart disease. That's what we're doing this for. So I like to see those numbers. I think they're inaccurate. I think it's a lot higher, but I do like those numbers.
Chris?
Yeah, and I agree with Danny. They're not fact that well, there's really no way to track what we do as shop owners across the country. There is no way to aggregate that data. But I agree with Danny. It's a lot bigger than that for us. But Views and Juul, a lot of people like to vilify Juul and stuff like that. But they brought a lot of vapors in, and we get to convert them into open systems and save money that way, and it's better for you. Get away from salt nick and stuff like that. So.
Danny, I'm gonna ask you to share with us your thoughts on Juul.
Okay. Well, I mean, I have mixed reviews. I'm a little bit like, listen, there's a place for a Juul out there, the higher nicotine, 55 milligram nicotine device for someone who's smoking 3 packs a day. There is a need for a high nicotine content device. However, you're talking about Juul. Now, Juul was in my stores back in the day, and I'm not going to try to throw trash on any company, but they are the one that basically lit the fuel and put the fire and put the youth vaping epidemic to full view and started the whole problem. In my opinion, I'm not saying that this is, they're the only company. There was others doing it, but they definitely sparked a lot of energy across the internet. And when Big Tobacco, or I call them Big Tobacco, when Big Tobacco bought Juul, I ended up taking their products out of my store because of all the legislation that was coming towards us and starting to talking about youth vaping, and it was all pointing at the Juul. So we made a decision, my wife and I, Crystal and I made a decision that we were going to take the Juul out of our stores. And I'm not against the Juul. I'm not against Views. I think these products, like Chris said, has a very good use, a practical use to help people transition off cigarettes. So the fact that it's owned by Big Tobacco, they're the enemy of vape. They are. If they're into really harm reduction, they needed to let us get in this space and stop going after us, stop stabbing us every year and trying to go after these states and push these bills. Work with us, sit down, work something out with us, because we're not going away. The vapor industry is grassroots. It's shops that started. And yeah, technology came in, you got Big Tobacco coming in, and they want a piece of this harm reduction because they see the future. They know what the future is, and that's a combustible-less future. There's no more lighting a cigarette on fire in 5 or 10 years. Hopefully it's eradicated. That's what we're trying to do. So, I have mixed feelings about Juul. I have mixed feelings because of what happened with the youth problem in this country. I believe that problem is now, going down. But I would have rebranded if it was me. That's what I would have done.
So, but now obviously disposables are the real issue, are they not?
Yeah, they're popular. I've hated them since I saw them in 2019. I can't stand them, but unfortunately, you got to sell them. If you don't have them, they'll go down the street and get them in any store, and it's just I'd rather see people use open systems. We actually converted somebody back today to an open system, Vapresso PM40. So it was nice to actually get somebody to go back. They want to lower nicotine. You can't get it through the disposables, so we got them converted back. And that always feels good. It's like converting a smoker for the first time. Now you're converting people off of the higher nicotine disposables.
Put it in another light. If you take a disposable at a higher nicotine, they make disposables in a lower nicotine, 20, 30 milligram. Then they make a 0 milligram disposable as well. There is a place for a disposable. Now, if you go into my stores, there's no cartoons. There's no straws hanging out of a disposable. There's no childish looking, and even my stores are all 21 over to just walk in the door. So I don't even let kids in my doors. But when you walk in my stores, I do sell disposables. But my disposables are mainstream label packaging. They're not these childish, there are some crazy disposables on the market. There is a true application for these devices. Now, do I love them? No. Do I sell them? Yes, because there's a demand for them. There's people out there that are in their 50s and 40s and 60s that want a disposable style device, and they smoke 3 packs a day, or they want to have it because it's smaller and it's not as hard to operate. So there is a market for it. I'm not for a ban on any vape product whatsoever. I don't care, unless it's childish and packaged all, crazy or trademarked wrong. If it's a practical product that works for harm reduction, whether it's open or closed system, I'm all about it.
So let me bring this up. When we were going through the list of states that were facing these PMTA registry bills, Tennessee's not on there. What is going on in Tennessee? Because I understand that you guys have kind of shot out, a bit of a cannonball out at Big Tobacco a bit.
Okay. So last year, your viewers can go back and look at the episode we did last year. We kind of left it off. Chris and I and the TSFA board, some of the members, we had a very strong registry bill that we were facing last year. And one thing about Tennessee is, well, 2 things. First of all, we have a fantastic lobby team. They are amazing, and they've been with us since day one. Our team is just outstanding. Our members are engaged, and we have fantastic members. So you also have in Tennessee, you have very educated reps and senators, because we kind of stay on top of talking to them. So when, just say this registry bill last year that came through, and I won't give you the rep's name, you guys can look it up, but the rep, on the House side who co-authored or sponsored the bill, he was basically approached and say, hey, I want to do this youth restriction bill, and will you sponsor a bill? And he said, sure. And he sponsored the bill, and then they got it sponsored on the House side. And then when the bill was drafted and they actually read it, it was a registry bill with taxes, this and that, everything that everybody's dealing with all over the country. It's the same damn bill. They're just tweaking it and trying to get it into different ways. Depends on the state and how friendly they are. But it's still a registry bill. So I actually called the state representative up, told him, hey, have you read the bill? And I went over, I talked to him for an hour and changed on the phone, and he immediately unsponsored the bill, dropped the bill. The senators dropped the bill immediately because they got to see what it was. Now, again, Tennessee, we've been engaged for 10 years straight. Some of these states, unfortunately, don't have, a lobbyist, don't have a strong organization of shops, that can come together. I believe we were the first organization that formed in the country, Tennessee, with Dimitri, when he put this together back in the day. So, we have a strong foundation, and the lobbying and knowing your reps and educated and having people fighting year-round, not only during session or when you see a bill come your way. You got to fight year-round, stay educated year-round. And I think we've done that. And I'm not bragging or boasting. I'm just saying, Dimitri really started a good template, and us as vape shop owners have just, united to kind of keep it going forward. And it's gotten worse over the last few years, not better. It's gotten worse. But the relationships we built with the lobby team we've been able to counteract these bills and defeat them.
Now,
so this year they didn't put up a bill.
They didn't put up a bill, but you guys put up a bill.
Yes. Yes. Well, let's just put it this way: if you're walking down the halls and you're constantly getting stabbed every year, you're always on defense. Every year you're on defense, trying to put out a fire. Well, last year when that registry bill came through, we had a board meeting. We talked. I said, you know what? We're done. We're done on defense. It's time to go on offense and say, listen, if this is about the children, we're going to write a bill that's going to fix this to give adults access for a harm reduction product and restrict it to youth. We're going to do it as the vapor industry on the ground. We're going to do it, not, some 7-Eleven or Waggles or good gas station or whatever. We are the vapor industry in Tennessee. I'm sorry, convenience store. We are the specialty shops that sell nicotine products. So we want to be the one that sets the regulations up. We should not have RJ Reynolds or Altria trying to create a law or a registry bill for our products, and they don't even have skin in the game on the stuff that we sell. So they might have 2 products that are put out there in stores or not in some of our stores, but they're not the industry. We are. So I can't stress that enough to all the states out there that have orgs and you should come together and just step up and say, listen, we're the vapor industry. Don't let big tobacco take over your state. Don't let them do it. Fight. So we decided we weren't going to get stabbed anymore. We just went after him. This year, and we created our own bill. And I'll be more than happy. Chris will talk to you about it. There it is.
Yeah, and Chris, why don't you give us a couple of words about what this is? I know this is all bill talk, so it's referring to lots of other stuff as it's redefining things and so forth. But What's the gist
Well,
of this?
effectively, the gist of it is to take these products out of traditionally non-compliant, i.e., don't card shops and your convenience stores, and places like that that aren't a 21 and up establishment solely. They're notorious for selling to kids, right? And if we're dealing with, if we're trying to prevent kids from vaping, the best way to do it is send a kid to our shop. They're not getting anything from our shops. So we feel that by doing it this way, we limit access to shops that have a proven track record of carding and making sure people are 21 and up. We try to prevent straw purchases, things of that nature. Um, Not 100% foolproof, but by taking the products out of stores where a kid goes in to buy a Snickers, but he can also buy an Elf bar, right? So and if the clerk doesn't care and they sell them both, I mean there's part of your problem right there. We can eliminate most of the underage access right there. I mean, now we're not talking about Instagram and stuff like that, but we're talking about just immediate face-to-face sales. We cut that out. Plus, by adding in a training component with this bill, our staff understands, there's penalties that they're going to pay personally if they don't card. So there is an incentive, a monetary incentive to be on top of their game,
Right. So first, so everybody gets this, if this passes, then the only establishments in the state of Tennessee that would be permitted to sell e-vapor products would be those that are specialty vape stores, basically.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, yes, but let me kind of break it down. It's a little bit for your audience. Okay, so they're always saying the youth problem. That's where all these bills are coming from, and we agreed because we talked to our SROs, we talked to our sheriff's officers, we talked to our principals, we talked to our state reps. I mean, we're hearing that they're finding these products in schools. Not only these, there's hemp products as well, but for the most part, it's nicotine products. So we said, okay, we know how to solve this problem because it's not our stores that are doing it. For the most part, I would say 99.73, and I think we have the statistics. I'm not going to give you the exact number because I don't want to be called out as a liar, but I have a statistic that it's like 0.03% or lower that it was an actual traditional vape shop that was fined. 99.7 something, it came from either a gas station, convenience store, or what have you, where the fines and the incurrences are coming. And this comes from the FDA's website. We got this information from Lindsay last night. Lindsay Stroud sent it over, so I could share that with you if you want to, link that later. But what we decided to do was say, okay, Tennessee is going to redefine what vapor is in Tennessee. And what a vapor product is a product that is sold in a 21 or over establishment only. Okay, so that means if you sell vapor products, you must be a 21 or over establishment, period. 21 to get in, 21 to purchase. Now, granted, 99% of the TSFA shops that are active right now, you have to be 21 to walk in the door. And that's not law. You have to be 21 to purchase, but not walk in the door. But 99% of our stores are already saying, you know what? We don't want that 20, 19, 18, 17-year-old purchase to come through our door. We don't want that headache. So we've done 21 or over. I've done 3 years. I've been doing 21 over since T21 was passed. I just made my shops 21 over to get in without it being typically, Tennessee law. So if you redefine the vapor product in Tennessee, it wasn't creating a burden on the states, not adding more regulations. They still have the laws to enforce, but they'll have a smaller pool that they need to look after. They won't have to go out to the flea market to see if they're selling, these disposables or vapes, or they won't have to go to the gift shops, or they won't have to go to somebody who just decides to sell them in their store. There'll be a corrugated, a nice tightened up 21 or over establishments throughout the state. And I assume a lot more stores would open, but they would be pulled out. I mean, why did CVS or wherever pull out cigarettes out of their drugstore? Okay, they're selling a healing product that kills you, but they took it out of their store mainly because of age verification. They're getting popped probably. I think that was the thing that, I don't know if it was CVS, but we don't want to say, hey, I think you're familiar with that, but we don't want to say, hey, to the convenience stores, we're screwing you, because we're not. We're saying, hey, we're trying to give adult access to this product, and we're trying to keep it out of the hands of children. The violations are coming from your stores. You are the 99.7% violation.
So if this, So if this goes into effect, then we're talking gas stations, C-stores, everywhere else, they'll not be able to carry e-cigarettes anymore.
That's right.
That's correct. And it's a little aggressive. I'm going to tell you right now, I have a committee hearing on Tuesday in the Senate, and then like an hour later, I got to go to the House committee member. I have a speak in there to, see if we could even get the, it's a big lift. But this is what I'm going to tell all the state orgs and all the consumers out there. Stop getting on defense, get on offense. Fight. Go out. Stand up for your industry. Stand up and fight. Go forward. Don't you're getting pushed around. And man, I'm so heartbroken to see what's going on around the country. I'm just so glad that Tennessee, a long time ago, before I even got engaged with the TSFA, Dimitri and what they did, back in the day, I'm so grateful, because I'm able to, carry the torch and stay in business and continue to fight and have representation with a wonderful team of shops that just are harm reduction advocates. That's what we're here for. Adult access, harm reduction, period.
Yeah. Chris, is there any chance that this bill will pass?
Like Danny said, it's a big lift. It's a pretty aggressive move, but I think it's a move that needed to be made, especially considering that RJR basically retracted this year on their bill. We got together as a board and discussed holding off and keeping this up our sleeves sort of thing. But in the end, we decided to hit the gas pedal and go forward and try to let's strike them. I want them out of our state. We don't need RJR and Altria trying to usurp federal powers in Tennessee. Get your stuff and get the hell out. We don't need that here, because the federal problem is its own problem. We don't need private companies coming in and trying to initiate law or establish law.
Yeah, if you have the federal government trying to regulate something, then the state's trying to stay in line with the federal government. Oh, good luck with that. The FDA is so tied up with lawsuits left after. They're in the court probably half the day, and they're trying to get the work done the other half of the day. So I can't see how the states would want to engage with the FDA registry and try to keep that.
No.
It's a task on the state. You're talking about adding a lot of revenue to be able to actually, and then to ask the shop owner or the person in that who owns the establishment, say, oh, listen, I got to make sure this thing doesn't have an MDO and it's still in market application, or this one's approved. It's a nightmare. Some of these laws that are passing, I can't imagine how they're going to actually enforce some of this. How are they going to actually monitor this? I don't think they can. I don't think they can.
That's a great point. It puts a huge financial burden on the states for enforcement. And it's just not practical. A lot of people don't understand our industry or the products that we sell in the first place, let alone enforcing, like he said, MDOs versus MGOs. You're not going to know, it would take somebody from the industry to enforce this stuff. And there's no resources available in these states for that.
Isn't it about just creating more layers of crap for the industry, in each one of the states, so they can get embroiled in this kind of a program?
Seemingly.
Yeah. I think every year something changes just a little bit. They try it a little bit differently every year. And, as long as you keep your finger on the pulse, you're kind of watching. The thing of it is, if you're always on defense, though, I think defense makes it hard to win. You could beat a bill. It's easier to defeat a bill than pass a bill. I'm realistic about this bill. I know what this bill is. I know what kind of a lift it is. But I'm not sitting back and waiting for RJR or Altria or, I can't. A convenience store lobbyist actually sponsored a bill last year against us. I'm not necessarily looking to be on defense all the time, and just always constantly, are we going to shut down? Oh, that we have to fight this thing. So we're saying, hey, listen, I'm not looking to be aggressive towards any industry out there. I'm just saying, leave us alone. Let us do our thing. And if this is the issue, if it's about kids, here's our solution. We have a solution. We have the solution. Here it is. Now, if the legislators look at it and go, oh, well, wait a minute, that might, do this or this or this. Well, we need to basically have a conversation and say, listen, is this about youth vaping? Is it about youth access? Or is it about something else? Let's get to the bottom of what it actually is. And we've always been told it's youth vaping. So we're like, you know what? We agree with you. Let's fix this.
Well, when it comes to the opponent here, there's the old saying that the issue is never the issue. The issue is always the revolution. So it's the teen vaping as long as it's the teen vaping, and then it's the next thing, which is what you do see with the expansion of it, growing to be a war on nicotine altogether, as opposed to just teen vaping.
I don't even know how to answer that because you nailed it. There's really nothing to add to that. Teen vaping, in my opinion, has declined every year since 18 or 19. I think it's declined every year, the actual vaping statistics. But there's still the ants out there. There's still all these, PAVE and all these, groups that are funded by, all these people to put out, all this inaccurate information. It's all lies. I mean, propaganda is probably the number one thing that everybody uses. And propaganda is lies. So if you can tell somebody the same story enough times, and I can't tell you how many times I hear popcorn lung still, and I'm like, holy shit, But if you can keep repeating the same propaganda, same crap, people are going to start believing it. I don't want to follow, anybody. We want to lead. Our tagline for TSFA is lead by example. That's what our tagline is for our organization.
Danny, let me ask you, we'll wrap up here, I think, a bit on this bill because there's not much more that we can, hopefully you'll be able to keep it going. But on that point, your state reps that are supporting this bill, are they like fully behind it?
Yeah. Well, our sponsors, you're talking about?
Your sponsors. I mean, sometimes,
Absolutely.
you can bring people on.
It's crazy because last summer, when we did our meeting, we were already in the throat of getting this thing designed. And I was talking to some of our state reps and our SROs and such, and they are 100% behind this. Now, when you talk to your state reps, and I'm not going to name names, but, I have a lot of reps that are not even necessarily in my district that I've spoke to, and they say they can't, public come out and, say they're going to support it necessarily, but they will probably support it and vote for it. And some say, yeah, they're 100% behind it. I have a wonderful sponsor who's been one of my state reps here in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, who sponsored it, Mr. Dale Carr, Representative Dale Carr. He's the House sponsor, and he is 100% behind it with about 5 or 6 of his colleagues that are really kind of, that I know, that are really for the bill. And they both told me, and they all tell me, this is a really big lift, but, they support it. They agree with it. The SROs want it. The principals want it. The law enforcement, they all want this so it can condense this into. If you try to prohibition it and ban it, you're going to kill people. First of all, you're going to kill people, whether it's through illicit, disposables that are, I don't even want to think about that. You'll kill people if you ban this product. That's just all the only way to it. So let the product come through. Regulate it the way we're trying to do. Shrink it in Tennessee, shrink it down to some stores. Let the FDA go through their regulations as they're going through this, can I say this nightmare of a scenario of what they're going through. I'm being very good tonight, by the way. While they're going through this crazy, federal crap with the PMTA, let the federal government work their irons out, kind of get it go. Big Tobacco's impatient, and they're trying to jump on the states before the federal government can even finish what they're doing. So we say, hell no, get out. We're going to take care of our state, and we're going to do what's right for the vape industry. And I think Chris knows I'm behaving because he's smirking over there. But I mean, I get passionate, and I got to tell you, it angers me when it's like, it would be basically like Chick-fil-A going to Nashville, lobbying against McDonald's. Okay, you got chicken and you got beef. Okay, we got tobacco combustible against a vaporized product. Okay, they don't belong advocating for us. They are not us. We are us. Now, yeah, do they have a market share that Goldman Sachs would say is $5.4 billion, whatever? Yeah, there's a market share out there for big tobacco. We know that. There's vapor products out there. But they're the only ones that are actually reporting because they're the only ones that are actually approved. Approve our products. And you'll see what the stats really are, how many people we're saving, extending their lives, the harm reduction we're doing, the transfers from cigarettes to nicotine over to vaping. It's staggering that they won't even allow us to get products in so we can prove that these products work. They already are proven. They're propaganda deniers. I just call it liars and deniers.
I should point out that in that group of data that I was just going over with you guys, also from Goldman Sachs believes that the illicit flavored disposable e-vapor market, those products represent over 50% of the category. So they're saying, hey, every number we're giving you, we think it's not even half of what the market is, because there's now.
No, when they say illicit, they're talking about everything that's on our shelves.
See, that's the thing I want interesting, because that's exactly what I want to get to you guys, because except for those 23 products, I mean, isn't most of the market already illicit? It's not just disposable.
I don't think it's fair to say illicit. The disposables, you could probably put that in that category as illicit. As far as the MDOs and the PMTAs that are in application, those are not illicit products. Those are going through applications. So for Goldman Sachs to say it's $5.4 billion and then the rest is illicit, that's a bunch of shit.
Well, they aren't fine pointing it. They're not carving it up. So it's not certain if it's only the 23 approved products. I don't think that's the case. I mean, could it be $5.4 billion and it's only out of those 23, approved products? I don't think so. But I don't know.
I'll give you a statistic right now. I have 25,000 customers in my database right now, 3 stores in Tennessee, just 3. That's 25,000 customers. Chris, I don't know how many you got in your two locations. We have shops that have 10 locations, 11 locations in the TSFA, some that have 5, 6. They're doing multi-million dollars a year in business. And they're trying to throw out these little weak numbers. You could just pull the reports from Tennessee and find out what the tax revenue is in Tennessee from the vapor shops if you want. I think it's, and I'm not going to try to throw shade on whoever wrote this report, but I totally know that's inaccurate. Even with the 50, if you add that percentage in that you say is missing, I still think it's off by $10 billion. We're over a $20 billion industry across this country. We are. Yeah. And if they want to say illicit disposables, yes, there's not you can have, but all these other e-liquids that are in the process of going through a PMTA, those are not illicit. That is
exactly
disrespectful statement for them to say that.
Well, no, and that's what I'm saying is that they haven't clearly drawn those lines. It's so I don't know, and I don't think they know because they obviously don't know.
They don't know, and that's the problem with the FDA. They don't know what the hell, and they need to tighten up their ship and get some stuff passed so these vape shops and these vapors can have some confidence that this industry will be here for them. If they keep clowning around and pushing and moving the goalposts, like I said, they're spending half their day in court. Can they not spend some time and get some of these products approved?
Yeah, well, we know a bunch about why that's happening. Let me share with you just one last kind of data point, which was very interesting. It was a comment from a Barclays analyst in regards to Altria's 2024 fiscal year guidance. So blah, 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 but when you look at the financials and you look at what the analysts are saying, you can definitely learn some stuff. So Barclays, talking about Altria, was saying that the single biggest impact on Altria's bottom line and stock price is what the FDA is going to do when it comes to cracking down on the whole vaping industry that's not a part of the approved FDA products. So if FDA and DOJ cracks down, that will be the single biggest boon to Altria's stock price and money in than anything else that could possibly happen. Vaping makes or breaks big tobacco.
I think they should. I think they should work with us and not attack us. I really do. I get passionate, so sorry if I was screaming at you, but I get a little passionate and I get a little fired up. But when it comes to big tobacco, over the years, they've done nothing but basically assault the vapor industry. And they're trying to find their way into this industry. We understand that. They want to wipe us out to maybe make the space just for them. I don't know. My thing is there needs to be a path for the open vapor system to keep the vape shops to be able to transition people down from a nicotine that's at the higher level down to a 0. That's what we're here for, harm reduction. Cigarette companies only make a 55 or a 50 milligram device. I don't know. I don't think, Chris, maybe you could tell me if there's a lower nicotine device. Maybe I'm on the heat not burns, but I'm not familiar with anything that's low nicotine, unless it's like a pouch or, a nicotine pouch. I'm not familiar with any vape product out there that's a low nicotine. Like the Juul is 55 milligrams. I mean, I'm not sure about the Views, how many milligrams that is. But, our shops offer, anywhere between 50 milligrams all the way down to 0. I mean, and then that's called harm reduction. That's called getting people to quit altogether. And I don't see them doing that. Now, I do see some things from PMI, what they're trying to do. But yeah, I'm excited for Tuesday, Brent. Let's just put it that way. When I go sitting there with the guys, Chris is coming with me, my wife, Terry and Bill from Knoxville Vapor will be joining me. Pramod from Chattanooga Vapor Company will be joining us. These are all board members that are going. And we've invited some of our members, and I believe we'll have some of our members be joining us on the Hill this Tuesday for the committee hearing. We're passionate about what we do. It's really, and I have no, super expectations. Okay. I'm not like, this bill's going to pass. And I mean, I know what we're looking at, but I also know if we didn't do this bill, they wouldn't know we existed. They'd keep steamrolling us. We need to stand up and say, no, we are the industry. We're going to fight for the right to vape for everybody in Tennessee. And that's why we do what we do.
Chris, any last words?
Nope. I think we covered quite a bit. I'm excited for Tuesday, and I hope that I hope we do good.
Well, that's excellent. Well, you guys, look, thanks very much for coming back on the show and with, such short notice. So it was just really important to get you on. Good luck on.
Can I just do a quick thing?
Sure.
If you guys live in Florida, if you want to reach out, get a hold of your legislators. Nick's going through a battle down there. Reach out to your legislators. Let them know you stand behind the Florida Association. You do not want that bill to go through the way what's going on there. And I think DeSantis will wake up. But if you're listening to the live stream, you have between now and I believe the end of tomorrow to get this done. So get it done, Florida people.
Get it done. There you go. And of course, as mentioned, we'll have Nick Orlando and Dan Marlin from the Florida Smoke-Free Association on RegWatch Live on Monday, March 11th at 7 p.m. So that's it for this edition of RegWatch. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, X. That's it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.